Hi, my name is Jasmine Dillavou. I am an artist, a poet, an arts educator, a curator, a community activist, etc. here in town. I've been an artist my whole life, but I also I'm a creative director for my husband's restaurant, Ephemera, so I get to curate and make things really beautiful. I'm a studio assistant. I'm an arts educator for Bemis School of Art and the Art Garage in Denver. Um, I work for my mom's vintage shop. It's called Bronx Girl Vintage in Manitou. It just opened. I do lots of things in the community. I co-run an arts discussion group called Non-Book Book Club with my friends Caleb and JD here. I wear a lot of hats, and I try to stay very busy because I really believe in this community and I love it a lot. One thing that I think a lot of people don't know about me is that I've been in the hospitality and restaurant food industry for 15 years, and that informs a lot of what I do as well, not just like creative practices and art, even though I think they cross over. So at that, this exhibition is called Girl Dinner. My interest in Girl Dinner stemmed from this viral TikTok trend about how women and femmes eat in privacy, essentially. And the idea is that you eat a bunch of small things from your refrigerator that don't involve cooking, they don't involve performing dining, they don't involve hospitality, there's very few dishes to clean afterwards. And if that's not just like a metaphor in itself, then I don't know what is. And I thought that's where I was beginning with my research and my unveiling, was that I was interested in food and how we eat it and why we eat it. But it turns out that's not what I was interested in at all. But I was really interested in the idea of hunger and desire and craving and the emptiness that kind of follows that. As someone who's been in the hospitality industry for a long time, I've been thinking about how we feed people and how we are fed, in the most literal sense, in the most metaphorical, poetic sense of that. Feeding people isn't something I take lightly, and I think it's this privilege to nourish people around us and to seat people and let them step away from their lives for a second and be taken care of and loved and valued without any work, right? To give them girl dinner all the time. Like, you don't have to do dishes, and you don't even have to order for yourself, and you don't have to perform the way you feed yourself, and etc. So the work started where it always starts for me, which is with lipstick. Lipstick's been my main medium for a long time. I love how it feels like the body is really present. The mouth is like so present, you can't deny it when you see it like that. It's not like, if I could, maybe I would paint the mouth in motion telling you the story, or I could give you the mouth in motion telling you the story as physically and directly as I possibly could. So it always starts with lipstick. This section, this course one of the work, is lipstick pushed through restaurant marketing stencils. So while this language is talking about food, it's also talking about the body. And like, all I've been doing is thinking about how the body is consumed and how often the most consumable body is the one that is so closely related to girlhood. And that's complex and heavy and layered, obviously. And so I wanted that to come through in this portion of the work, of course. I wanted it to reference the body in a way that I wanted to use lipstick forever, which is to talk about sex and humanity and suffragist and power and culture and intensity. It's kind of messy, and it's also kind of really pretty, and it can be both those things at the same time. The work you see here with the lipstick is backed by recipe papers, and something I feel really strongly about is authenticity, and that these are not replicas or copies. These are real recipes from my real family. Physically here you'll see my paternal grandmother's handwriting, her little note saying, this is good, but it could use some more sugar, flour, whatever. And that's really important to me, as well as that between those layers you'll also see recipe papers from Puerto Rican cookbooks, my Puerto Rican cookbooks. They're very special to me, but I want to hold space for both of my grandmothers to live in this work. I think it's necessary to honor the women before me who have fed the women before me and have fed all of us, right? Like, I could paint a picture of them feeding us, or I could show you exactly how they've fed us and how they'll continue to feed us and how I hopefully will continue to feed those after me. I think it's important to show that these women have fed people for a long time, and not just feeding, right? They're not just like cooking for us and giving us food, and that's like nourishment and beautiful. But it's also them at Thanksgiving standing back while everyone fills their plate and waiting till everyone gets a full plate before they sit down. If they sit down, in that they're going to be the first ones off that table washing dishes, that they're ensuring every single person has a full stomach before they do. And that's how womanhood was sort of taught to me for a long time. And I know that's like a lot to unpack, and I'm working through that. But I also think there's some honor and beauty in that, and how we care for people so carefully and so gently by filling their plates. You know? So the recipe papers, they're real, they are what they are. If you take a piece home, you're taking home a part of my lineage and my family. And hopefully you carry that on. You think about your family and the women who fed you and the women who continue to feed people in your lives. Moving to another portion of the exhibition, the chrome teeth, which people ask me about a lot. The chrome teeth in the exhibition are real chrome tooth caps, which we don't use so much anymore. But I wanted the presence of the teeth to be really, really real here. I didn't want to like bullshit anyone. I want there to be a gnawing, a mastication, a like presence of the biting back. Like our mouths do so much more than eat, that it's all here in the room with us. And the teeth I felt like was the most accurate, authentic way to do that. I think especially letting them live alongside the plates in the room helps accentuate the presence of the mouth here. Girl dinner is sometimes thought of as this really small thing, like small bites, small consumption, small portions, but I want this work to be about sort of the largeness of the aftermath of it. So, like for instance, the paper plate holders. Like, do you know that some people don't know what a paper plate holder is? Food and feeding people also comes with a level of class, and that food is also like a form of currency, right? Like how much we can eat and how we withhold eating from others. It's a form of currency. It's a big conversation. And it's a privilege right now. So paper plate holders being a way that people in our lives elevate something really simple, like a meal on a paper plate, to extend an elevated form of hospitality to the table feels really important next to something like displayed ceramic plates. It's like the one thing that we're supposed to put food on to feed people, but it's like performative. Like it lives on the wall just to be really pretty. And that's not lost on me as someone who like performs my gender in a very specific way. I know what makeup does, I know what hair does, I know what heels do, I do it specifically. And I think also ceramic plates smashed with lipstick do that specifically. Food as currency, food as power, it's all present in the work. It has to be. Like I would be remiss to think I could make tongue-in-cheek fun art about a fun concept like girl dinner. It's kind of funny and fun without understanding that there's an underlying conversation here. I think we all see that. That sort of leads me to this last piece, which is the play set, which was like a super interesting journey to me finding this. Those who know was like I was on this journey to find a specific piece of child's play set. Little Tykes is so hard to find. And then when you do find it on Facebook Marketplace and you drive to like the farthest side of Colorado Springs and they say, do you have kids? They're gonna love this. You can't say, nope, this is just for me, because that's fucking weird. So the play set's really an important sort of, how do you say, bookend to the exhibition, in that it's talking about nostalgia and girlhood, which obviously, like, even the language of girlhood and girl dinner, like, it's a word that was used to demean, right? Like to say I'm not a girl, I'm a woman, or I am this. Wouldn't go to the bar and be like, can you ask that boy behind the bar for a glass of whiskey? Like, we don't do that. We don't call men boys. That would be so demeaning. And yet we call women girls all the time. We call femme-bodied folks girls all the time. There's clean girl, there's pick-me girl, there's girl dinner, there's hot girl walk. Like, girl is complicated and loaded, and like, maybe we're in the era of reclaiming that, right? Like, that girlhood is also this loaded, beautiful thing that can live in our nostalgia and our empowerment, and calling someone girl kind of is specific to certain cultures and entities. And if I call you girl, then we have a connection that's a little bit different, and we're allowed that. But it sort of feels different and loaded when someone else calls you that. And I've sat at enough dive bars with female bartenders who've been called girl or sweetheart or darling to know that it's loaded and different. I think me leaning into girlhood or girl dinner is me leaning into my own girlhood, and I'm excited by it, and also like endlessly confused by it, and will always be. And that's why I'm so interested in girlhood and the exploration of femininity as a tool and as a pathway, and like a door that we could like plunge through as we navigate our own experiences in the world. Yeah, I think gathering is something I care about, and how that is perceived through my femininity is always going to be complex. My love for hospitality and feeding people is always going to have an additional loaded, weird, complex umbrella over it that I'm just going to have to work my way through. I went off, but I tried my best. So can you guys ask me some questions now? Would be great. A few days ago, we held a girl dinner pop-up here with ephemera, my husband's restaurant pop-up program. We fed 20 women in this room and gave them an evening to step outside of their everyday. We gave them as much wine as they could possibly handle. We gave them as much food as their body could possibly eat. And we talked about our bodies and our lives, and we ate lollipops made of euphorics, and we listened to Beyonce, and we had a really good time. My husband Ian and I started ephemera as an underground pop-up program, and since opening the brick and mortar, I've stepped away a lot from these sort of hyper intimate dining experiences, but obviously hospitality is near and dear to our hearts, so this felt like a nice little drive back to that, and it was so beautiful. I don't think I've ever served an entire table completely comprised of women ever, and it was very unique. It felt like we were having different types of conversations. We carried our bodies a little differently. Everything felt a little bit more relaxed. Also, during that day, people kept texting me saying, like, good luck tonight, I hope everything goes great. And I thought it was really odd. Ian and I have been doing this forever. Like, we've been doing pop-up dinners forever. But it was the first time that this was my story to tell, that I was leading ship on one of these sort of experiences that we've been doing for a long time. And I got to guide our guests through their evening and provide for them something really special and relaxed. And I've never really thought about how important that was. Instead of simply acting as sort of a partner in something, but getting to be a leader in it, felt really empowering and excellent and wonderful, and made me feel really seen and loved. And I hope the guests at our table felt that way too. So our friend's father was a dentist some time ago, and when he closed that dental office, they were going to get rid of all of those odd things. I got a lot of things from that dental office. So, and these are things we don't really use them anymore. So they also are a relic and sort of showing a passing of time. I have been holding on to them for some years, because it felt like once I used them, they were going to be gone. And like, I need to use them for the right thing, and this was like totally the right thing to use them for, because I'm a big collector, but some of those things are more like ephemeral than others. Like, I can't get more. So that's it. I think like just forever, the women in my life have always collected things. They hold on to things with so much like powerful nostalgia. Like it's insane. Like there's no letting go of so much of this. Even my mom being like the antique or vintage person she's been forever, like finding value in just everything has been something I'm learning my way into, and also knowing what things I'm okay like letting back into the world, things that maybe seem really precious. I mean, they are precious, that's not denying their preciousness, but to release it back into the world as something that doesn't need to belong to me but can continue on a story is more important, regardless of how like finite they are. This one is called Mom's Ice Cream Chocolate for Freezer, which I don't totally know what that means, but there is one little note that she wrote that says "Dad loves," and and I was like, oh, and then below goes, "It's my mother, no, it's her recipe, but Dad loves." And that's in reference to her husband, my grandfather, who passed away this year. I just kept thinking, like, oh, she made sure to make a note, like, oh, your dad loves this one, so like, this is one we should keep making. It's honestly, it's literally chocolate ice cream, which I could make right now for you, but yeah, it's like 4 ingredients. But something about it's like, right? It's like that's how we remember each other, right? We say Dad loves this, so like remember it and like do it more, because we can keep telling people like that we love them. The more we feed them and continue to feed them right, and yeah. So I like that one a lot. But all of them sort of have that little element to them, but that one in particular. Okay. Thanks. Thanks.